how do I want this beat to feel? I listened to the melody and I came up with an idea. I wanted the beat to be as smooth as R&B, as slow as lo-fi, but as punchy as hip-hop and boom bap. With that combination, I removed the drill hi-hats and this is what I came up with. Hey Tada, this is episode 4 of making a song every week until I blow up. This one was not easy. It took long, but it's here. Let's get right into it. There's gonna be a lot of sampling, a lot of automation. This is what you can expect on this episode. So the first thing I did was I worked on the sample. So I picked up this sample. It just struck me immediately when I heard it, and I knew that I wanna use this specific sample. And I don't usually use samples because I just don't know the legalities around them. So I play too far from them. But this time I just decided to try them out, and this specific sample just stood out. And so yeah, this is the sample. There's this part of the sample which resonates more with me, just a section of it. So I needed to repeat it, because I wanted to hear it more. And even though it sounded like it was repeating in the original sample, I wanted to just get more of it. So I just cut it and I moved it back a bit, as you can see. Just like that, I now have my sample, and it's sounding exactly like how I would love it to be if I was instructing those people who were actually making the instruments there. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to retune it. I'm going to maybe change the pitch to find something that makes me want to develop it further. Because I love the sample already, but it's still the original thing. I just looped it. So now what I need to do is I need to introduce my taste to it, which is now change the frequencies, So I changed the pitch a few times and I landed on this. Okay, cool idea. I'm gonna automate this knob, and then I'm going to put it up and down. Like this. It's like I'm creating my own phaser effect, and it's slow. I wanna make it subtle though. Then I wanna remove the bass as well. Then I'm gonna recreate that bass. Now the next thing I needed to add was the bass, because the original sample, it actually sounds like it has a bass. It kind of has it if you can just listen to it. But now I had to remove the bass from the actual original sample and introduce my own bass and add a new one. And I always go for purity. That's like my favorite bass. So by just adding my own bass, I've gained more control over the whole track and the whole sample. So that's what I did. I added the bass. I went to purity and I just played around similar notes. I listened to the sample, and by ear I tried to match the notes with the bass and come up with something nice that can flow with it. And this is what we have. So now I needed to create some kind of an atmosphere. I needed to create like an ambience, which is, we can also call it texture. So I added these in order to just try and, get the vibe nice, because these notes here, they sound, especially when you put some reverb, they sound more like, an atmosphere, like a drone sound kind of vibe. So I added this to try and add some texture and some kind of environment. And the next thing I needed to do was the drum. So I had to go straight into my library and find a kick that matches the sample and the bass. And I also had to find a snare. And so I went into search for the drums, and I started conceptualizing them in my head to try and find the type of drum pattern that can actually work for this specific melody that I just tweaked a bit. So at this point, I'm realizing that the role of the drums in a song is to actually introduce rhythm. Like, mainly the drums are there for the rhythm. So when I'm listening to this rhythm, the first instinct was to go to drill, because like in my head I just had the tick, 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 tick playing in my head. So I went straight to that, and that's how I made the choice of like genre. It was because of the hi-hats that was playing in my head at the moment when I was actually making the beat. So I made the decision of the genre at that moment, when I then chose to use the hi-hats exactly the way I chose to use them, which is like ta, 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 ta. Now, after I did that, I couldn't quantize them. I don't know why. Like it was a problem to quantize them, but I had an idea that what if maybe I did this rolling of hairs, like where it's like, and I've never really done those things like successfully, because I hardly do drill or UK drill or any type of those quick moving snares or heads. I mean, so it was kind of a challenge, but I tried to like work around it, and I settled for this. Like this is what I settled for. So immediately after adding this, I don't know if these roles are actually the ones that people use, but this is what I could achieve at this moment, because for some reason I just couldn't quantize this whole like set of heads. I don't know why. I couldn't find their timing right. I tried to play around with the time code then, like, but it just couldn't work. So I just moved on, and I started now to build my kick and snare. I worked on the kick and snare simultaneously, and I just went with my instincts as I just built it up, because I had already found the right sounds. So I had already made sure that I did my sound selection correct, so that when I build them, I don't have to now make a lot of decisions at the same time. So I went right into building that, and I fell right into the pattern that was playing in my head, and this is it. It sounds good. Sounds good. So at this moment, at this moment, I'm almost done with this beat. But now, this hi-hats which are the core element of the genre in this beat, because in most cases there's one or two instruments that determine a genre, and everything else is just you know subjective, whether you want it there or not. So for an example, in this beat specifically, if I removed these hi-hats, this you will notice that this beat can be any genre, like in terms of subgenres of like rap, it could be any genre. So I realized at this moment now, this hi-hats are not working out because I'm not correctly quantized, and I can't really figure it out. So I thought maybe the problem is the idea that I chose the genre with this, and while they are not doing it well, so they are ruining the whole beat. And so I thought drill on this melody doesn't work for me. At least I can't do it, so I thought maybe I should change the genre. And this is the moment when now it hit me. I was like, you know what, perhaps I should focus less on the genre and now focus more on the feeling. How do I want this beat to feel? So I now switched off the kick, the drums, mainly the hi-hats, and then I listened to the melody and I came up with an idea from the feeling that I felt. Now I wanted the beat to be as smooth as R&B, as slow as lo-fi, but as punchy as hip hop and boom bap. So with that combination, I removed the drill hi-hats, and this is what I came up with. It just now made sense. Like the beat, it's no longer a slave to a specific genre or specific rules. The beat now just follows my emotion directly. Like it's more like I'm just building up from what I was feeling from hearing the simple, and this is the right way to do it. At this point, the beat feels almost complete for me, in a way that, because I like to keep my beats simple. I hardly add a lot of stuff. I hardly add a lot of sound effects and everything, because I feel like if I'm gonna do those things, those extra stuff, I have to do them with a certain intention, which is, I noticed that over time, the beats that I'm making, the new songs that I'm making, I'm adding more instruments over time because I'm gaining more insight into the instruments, and now my intention is even better towards them. So I think maybe as we go, I'll start adding more instruments to my beats. But for now, I love how simple they are, because they allow me to just focus on writing, because I want to perfect the pen as well. I'm sure if you've been following since episode 1, you've realized that I actually write my music before I record. I don't just play a beat and then sit there and figure it out like while I record. No, I take my time to craft the lyrics. I might come up with some lines on the spot, write them down, or maybe even put them down, like record them on the spot. But most of the time, I would take those words, whatever idea that I came up with, and I would take it back into the book and I would drill it down. And I would try to find intention to put words in a way that kind of portrays something. So the next thing now I needed to do is to design my sounds. So I'm taking each and every element, each and every sound that I've added. That's why I like minimum sounds, because then it's easier to sound design them, because I haven't really gotten used to the idea of staking sounds. I'm still trying to figure my way out around that. But now, when it comes to this stage, the most important thing is to understand that it's not right or wrong. And this is something that I'm grateful that I understand. I understand that it's all subjective. It's all about how you want the sound to feel like. You can add a delay on top of a kick if you feel like that. You can add a reverb on anything. You can do whatever you want at this stage, because now you are trying to make the sound feel a certain way. But now this is not mixing. I'm not yet mixing, so which means whatever I'm doing here, it's more like I am creating a direction. I am putting down a note, an emotional note on my beat, so that when I do the mixing and mastering, I am able to remember what I wanted the beat to sound like. And now, like, this stage becomes crucial for me, because this is the moment where I'm feeling the beat, and the beat is making sense to me at this moment now. And if I don't put enough details into how I want it to be, when I'm coming back to mix it, I might forget some elements. Like for an example, on episode 3, there is a part, a vocal, which I wanted it to like, I wanted to sound specifically, and I forgot that sound. I forgot to actually apply the effect, which I hope you will hear if you listen to the song, the actual song of which was made in episode 3. So the problem is that I didn't note it down. I didn't even do a demo of what I wanted to do, like just a simple old telephone effect. Then I would have remembered while I was, exporting the song for YouTube. But anyway, it's fine. It will be in the final mix, and I'll make sure to remember it, because I did jot it down somewhere. So I'll do the same even with this track. So at this stage, most of the things that I focus on is the frequencies. Actually, the main thing I focus on is the frequency. I'm trying by all means to unmask the frequencies, which means I'm taking all the low end frequencies, the basses, the sub, if I have all those low frequencies. I'm making most of them mono, because I don't want them to be stereo. They will just fill out the whole mix and create a lot of muddiness. I don't know where I had this, but it's just something I just stuck with, because I learned almost everything here on YouTube. So then I would also isolate other frequencies into their fundamental frequencies, so that we do not have an instrument that is mainly high on the high frequencies, but also giving us some low frequencies. We don't want that. We want to receive only the desired frequencies from each and every instrument. And by doing that, I'm creating space all over the set, so that now my instrument can breathe and they don't have to fight for space. And that is something that also I am just doing this so that I can be able to listen to the song and get the idea of what I want it to sound like. Even after I'm out of the project, I can come back to it and just press play and listen to it, so that I can keep developing it. Because I don't usually work on a song once and I finish it. I usually make a draft, forget about it, work on other stuff, then come back and then do some more. So with that being said, at this stage, I feel like I got my texture right. I got some effects, an idea of what I would like the final product to sound like. So now I also came up with a nice flow for the hook or the chorus, and I just felt compelled to put it down, because this was now the foundation of the whole song. And the lyrics of the verses that are to come, which I wrote 2 verses, the foundation of those verses came from the simplicity of this hook or chorus. So have a listen. And it's not perfect, because this was just me putting down the idea, but I ended up deciding to keep it for the whole song, and I will only consider editing it when I now want to do the final mix and drop the song. So here's the chorus.
When you want a milkshake, all over her face. If she give a dick head, all this subs is Paul. They just giving cheap hate. Way too good not to hate. Way too good not to hate. I make it cold sweat. When I want a milkshake, all over her face. If she give a dick head, all this subs is Paul. They just giving cheap hate. Way too good not to hate. Way too good not to hate, please.
Once I was done with the chorus, I went straight into writing the lyrics. I think it took me about 2 to 3 days to write these lyrics, mainly because I was trying to stay on track with the themes, and I spent most of the time figuring out the theme. So in that 2 to 3 days that I spent the first full day just figuring out the theme, like from what I said in the chorus, what is the theme, what direction am I going to take with the verses. So that was the first thing that I did. And then after figuring out the kind of theme, I made peace with the idea that on this track I'm going to go with multiple themes, just one main theme with a lot of sub themes to just play around and explore a lot. And then I was able to lay down the first verse, and I was able to lay down the second verse, and then I came to studio now, which is my bedroom. Basically that means just open FL Studio and start recording. And then I started recording verse 1, and then I got a lot of takes, and I just left it there. I didn't even listen to them.
Hey, soon I'm a daddy young. I finna play my part without it in like I'm a non. Give me my cake, I wanna rip it apart. At the expense of a say that you raise it.
And then I went on to record verse 2. And also, the same thing with verse 2. I just recorded it and then I left it there. And then that's what I do. I would just leave the project. So I left the project for like a minute. I went out to breathe and then I came back. And when I came back, I started listening to what I had recorded. And then it wasn't sounding good to me. And because it wasn't sounding good, I'm always second guessing myself. I don't know why, but I always do that. And that's my main reason why I procrastinate a lot. And that's the main reason why this episode is so late according to my schedule, because it was supposed to be in front of your screens like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago maybe, but anyway, it's here.
I told her the truth, she left. I guess we can call it a fun fact. Pillow fight, I don't fight back. I'm only fighting your nightmares. I'ma be there for days and I'ma be there for the night care. I know that she's my top fan. Stealing your heart was a good plan.
So now I'm trying to figure out the right vocal to use. Now all these vocals are different and none of them are standing out at this point. So I'm now stressed out because I don't know if I should re-record the whole song or what, because I've done that before. Like there were times where I would record an entire song, finish it, then walk out and then come back and feel like I didn't do anything. So then I would start afresh. So at this moment I'm feeling, damn, am I gonna re-record? So I ended the session there and then I went out, then I came back. But this time the perspective was better because now I came up with the idea that maybe I should stack them up. Should just put vocal, layer them on top of each other and just hear how they sound like.
Hey, I told her the truth, she left. I guess we can call it a fun fact. Pillow fight, I don't fight back. I'm only fighting your nightmares. Hey, I'ma be there for days and I'ma be there for the night, kid. I know that she's my top fan. Stealing your heart was a good plan. Hey, I'ma outlive all your exes. I'll make you regret why you went there. I'll make you forget who you had first. I guess we can call it a night fact.
So the next thing I did was I decided to denoise everything, so that I can be able to hear it clearly. I denoised everything using Edison. I always use Edison. Edison is the easiest thing to use so far because that's the only and first thing I learned how to denoise, and so I always stick to that. I always stick to the basics.
Hey, soon I'm a daddy young. I finna play my part without it in like I'm a nun. Hey, give me my cake, I wanna rip it apart. At the expense of a solitude, why is a company have? Give me your space.
So now I needed to work on the timing, and I needed to now synchronize the vocals, the entire vocal track, like as one thing, as one main track, to synchronize it with the beat. Because as you can see at this point, the beat is not yet arranged. The melody is playing throughout, the drums are playing throughout, every instrument is playing from beginning to end. So I needed to find a way to make them flow into each other, and this now opened up the doors for me to be able to hear the vocals correctly. I realized that I didn't hear the vocals correctly. It's like the instruments were hindering my hearing abilities from actually functioning to their maximum capability. So what I did then was to mute some of the instruments, and I listened to the vocals with only a selected few instruments, and now it made sense, and I was able to even cut more vocals out of the chain. And by doing that, I was now into the stage of cutting out the fat, meaning I'm just listening and removing things that I feel like they are not necessary for the song. They are not necessary for making this a better song. So if I remove something and I feel like I miss it, then I'm gonna put it back. If I remove something and I feel like it, either I don't miss it or it has actually made the song better by removing it, then it's good. That's the next step. That's me cutting down the fat. And by just doing that, we had a full song for the 4th episode of making a song every week until I blew up. And this is what I have.
Make a cold sweat when you want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick head, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to hate. Make a cold sweat when I want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick hate, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to. Don't hate, please.
Soon I'm a daddy, yeah, young. I finna play my part without it in like I'm a nun. Give me my cake, I wanna rip it apart. At the expense of a solitude where is a company have. Give me your space, soon I'ma make you a mom. Can't wait to see you become, but do not forget to have fun. Give it the pedestal, man, she deserve it a lot. At the expense of an attitude, you can profit of a lad. Hey, give me your purse. You don't really get maths and physics, but you understand our chemistry. I was never gonna kiss and tell, but I almost opened a ministry. Let her cook, she's a recipe. Leave me alone, it's a misery. I don't wanna live separately, I'll save you a spot at the cemetery. Shout out to you for eternity. You made a model a deity. I get aroused when you look at me. Feel like I've known you for centuries. Maybe your life is a memory. We are reliving it perfectly. We're making love a priority. We're making love it accordingly.
When you want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick head, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to hate. Make it cold sweat when I want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick hate, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to. Don't hate, please.
I told her the two, she left. I guess we can call it a fun fact. Pillow fight, I don't fight back. I'm only fighting your nightmares. Hey, I'ma be there for days and I'ma be there for the night, kid. I know the shits, I'm a top fan. Stealing your heart was a good plan. Hey, I'ma leave all your exes, I'll make you regret why you went there. I'll make you forget who you had first. I guess we gon' call it a night fact. Hey, said that I speak like a master, as long as I live, I still gotta learn. And how to protect you from ignorance. Thinking my life is a little less. Hey, may your perspective of life never turn you against me eventually. May you remember the happy me. Never be tricked and hated me. Hey, never be silent, my baby, whenever you speak, it's a symphony. You keep it ready to date me. Your voice is healing me sonically. Hey, I live my life as a word of love for my queen, I'm giving it. Hey, no longer following sediment, nigga, I'm finally settling. Hey, the feeling I got is too natural, I think I love you efficiently. Hey, bitch, you love to addict you, and I think I love you effectively.
I'm your baby. Give me the cheese. And I'm only seeing you. There's nothing in between. You're mine. It's the reason I give you the keys.
Make it cold sweat when you want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick head, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to hate. Make it cold sweat when I want a milkshake all over her face. If she give a dick hate, all this stuff is Paul. They just giving cheap hate, way too good not to hate, way too good not to. Don't hate, please.
When I started this challenge, I knew it was not going to be easy. And to tell you the truth, I was right about that part, that it was not going to be easy. The part that I was not right about was the amount of work I need to put in to pull this off. And also the amount of growth that's going to come with it. Just putting in the intention to want to achieve something just gives you a sense of purpose. And to tell you the truth, I am more happier doing this than just making music for no reason at all, just making it. It will feel very dumb if I did this as a hobby. And therefore, being able to finish this episode, if someone out there is watching episode 4, then like there's gonna be episode 100, because then there's no stopping. The one thing that I learned the most about making episode 4 is that it doesn't matter how long it takes. What matters is you showing up, staying on track, and fighting hard enough to see it through. Show up and see it through. So yeah, this has been a beautiful journey making episode 4, and I can't wait for episode 5. By the way, I know that this is making a song every week until I blow up, but for the sake of quality of my music and the episodes themselves, for your for your consumption so that you can enjoy them. I'm gonna try by all means to prioritize giving you better videos than giving you a video every week. If I have to delay for you to get a better video, I'm gonna do it, because I want you to really enjoy the process as much as I enjoy it. Because the main reason I do this is to show you how I do it, to show you what I go through. Unfortunately, I'm still learning that. I'm not a master, so I'm not yet doing it to a point where I'm also satisfied. So bear with me, and in the meantime, it will be dope if you just join me on the journey and just watch me grow and see yourself grow from my growth. Just hit the like button and the subscribe button, and let's hang out more often. See you next time. This is episode 4. Enjoy the song.
When I want a milkshake.